Hi, Logan Christopher here, and today I want to talk about body weight training. That is, using your own body as a weight for doing many different exercises. Now, for a long time it was thought that you needed to lift weights in order to become super strong. And you can become strong by lifting weights. But bodyweight exercise shouldn't be just relegated to doing light calisthenics, to just using that as warm-ups or for deconditioned people. You can become ridiculously strong with bodyweight training. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Here are just a few feats that people have done using bodyweight training. Jasper Benincasa doing what he called CTI, close to impossible. He is holding himself up in this position. And he's also famous for doing many, just repping out the one-arm chins. Here you have Professor Paulinetti, really one of the fathers of hand balancing, doing the one-arm planche. Very few people in the world can do a two-arm planche. Here he is on one arm. In his book, The True Art and Science of Hand Balancing, it talks about Johnny Weber, who was able to do a one-arm tiger bend. Now, if you don't know, the tiger bend is when you press up from a forearm stand up into a handstand, which is a tremendous feat of strength and skill. And Johnny Weber here could do it on one arm. Lest you think that all these skills are just for small people, here we have Bert Asserati and Paul Hepburn, big guys and big proponents of handstand training. You have hundreds of gymnasts across the world becoming ridiculously strong on the rings and other apparatus. You have the performers from Cirque du Soleil. All these guys, super strong with bodyweight training. Now you can have that kind of strength with or without the skill. Skill is a big component of what a lot of these people do, and also the reason why they need to train for hours each day. But you don't have to do that. You can get the strength in a fraction of the time. More on that later. So what does it take to become super strong? For everyone, you need a firm foundation, and a foundation is always made up of the basics. Now, to understand the basic bodyweight exercise, you need to understand the basic motions of the human body. Basically, this can be separated into 4 or 5 different groups. You have some sort of pressing motion. Now, some people subdivide these into different planes of movement, and that can be useful, but if you just think of pressing, whether a push-up or overhead, and this can be done with weights, but also, of course, with just bodyweight exercise. So working towards a handstand push-up, an exercise where you handle your entire body weight, pressing in a vertical motion. Now really, if I want to go into talking about the different planes, the horizontal plane here, with cables, other exercises, you can do some pressing out into other degrees, and of course there's all sorts of combinations of these moves as well. But pressing overhead is really the test of strength. It is more important in everyday life and all sorts of different situations to be able to lift something overhead rather than, for instance, laying on your back and doing a bench press. It takes much more stabilization, much more strength. You have the coordination and balance necessary for a handstand push-up, and you see why gymnasts and other people that do handstand push-ups generally can also handle a lot of weight in that movement. So we have pressing movements, then of course the opposite of that is pulling movements. Again, this can happen in many planes. You can do various sorts of rows, upright rows, rows like this, and then you have the pull-up or chin-up. Again, working in the vertical plane, and again with this exercise you work up to being able to handle your entire body weight and even beyond that. The next exercise we have is the squat. It's really a push with the lower body, using the biggest muscles of the body, the legs, and really the strongest of the muscles too. So for most people, once they can handle the squat, and really the majority of people need to work on the range of motion, be able to get into a bottom position of the squat and be able to be comfortable here. Most people, by not using that, will lose that ability. But to gain strength, going beyond this, many people can do hundreds, even thousands of reps in the squats. That's going to be great for endurance, really not going to help you so much in the super strength category. So we take it to one leg, being able to do the pistol, and then advanced variations off of that, whether weighted, doing explosive pistols. You can build a lot of strength along with other attributes of athleticism by using the pistol. So it's a great exercise. The next motion of the human body is, again using the legs, but is a lower body pulling movement. Picking something off the ground. Now, this is something that most people that say, oh, you should only use bodyweight exercise, it's the most natural. The problem is, there is no bodyweight exercise that really mimics this sort of movement pattern, picking something off the ground. That can be deadlift, doing kettlebell swings. The only way you can make this a bodyweight exercise is if you're picking up someone else's body. So this exercise, a lower body pulling motion, is a very important basic human movement pattern, and it should be trained. So I think if you wanted to, you could just train with bodyweight exercises, but if you add in this one motion, regardless of how you do it, you're going to get much bigger and better results. So if you had someone just bodyweight exercises versus someone bodyweight exercises plus this one motion, I would pick that person overall as being better for the majority of athletics out there, because it's an important thing, and picking something off the ground is definitely something you need in your everyday life. If you're moving, you need to pick something off the ground, all sorts of different things. So you should train this, even if you want to say you're a bodyweight only guy, I encourage you, add this motion in there. And then the fifth major component is some sort of core strengthening exercise. Now, the core, that word has been misused, but it really describes it well, because it's not just an abdominal movement, because the core extends to the lower back, which is super important as well. You could use the trunk, but then that generally indicates the entire upper body from the core on upward. So we're going to use the word core here, and this can be subdivided into two things, because it's important for two different aspects. One is stability. This is responsible for keeping your body aloft in all sorts of different exercises. And if you go to super advanced bodyweight training exercises like the planche, like doing levers, human flag, various things of that sort, then you're going to need a very strong core in order to stabilize your body. To be able to hold it while either your lower body is on the ground or the upper body, something like that. You have to be able to hold your body tight to keep that leverage from just pulling you right down to the ground, from gravity just pulling you down. Now, the second part of core work involves movement, either bringing the lower body up toward the torso or bringing the torso toward the lower body, as in sit-ups. My preferred exercise for this is doing hanging leg lifts, because these actually combine the two. It takes stability just to hold yourself in that position, especially as you get to the more advanced ones where you're stabilizing in order to hold your body upright and lifting your legs all the way to the bottom. So it has the stability and the movement component. So we work up to 4 different main exercises with bodyweight training, and then add in that fifth one, the lower body pulling movement, that comes from using other tools. You have handstand push-ups, pull-ups, one-legged squats, and leg raises. You work with these 4 exercises. This is what you need as your foundation. Build strength with these, train with these exercises, and you can move on to more advanced, more skilled exercises with these, really. It doesn't take a lot of work if your foundation is super strong. Now, for many people, you're not going to be able to start at this level. Handstand push-up is by itself an advanced exercise. That's why I call this advanced bodyweight training. It doesn't take all that much training to get to this level and be able to maintain it there, and from there go on to the really advanced stuff. But if you're not there, start with the push-ups. Start with doing some sort of inverted rows. If you can't do the pull-ups yet, you can start with squats on 2 legs. Different progressions you can use with that. And all sorts of different forms of leg lifts, whether hanging or not, that you can use. So there are different ways you can play with this, regardless of your level. And of course, once you're super strong, you can go beyond it. We'll talk more about that later. So now that I've given you an overview of what advanced bodyweight training is about, really building this foundation that you need to go on to more advanced skills, and you can really just, these exercises, these 4 exercises alone, become very, very strong. Once you have these, then you can go further. So we're going to talk about something in the next video that is a bit controversial, about technique. When it's appropriate, when you really need to focus on it, what it can do for you, and what you really shouldn't think about regarding technique. So stay tuned for that next video.